The Memphis Grizzlies have suspended guard Ja Morant for conduct detrimental to the team. Morant will sit out Sunday's game against the Toronto Raptors as part of that team-issued suspension.
What went wrong for you today?
Go ask the coaching staff.
From the outside, it didn't look like you had your usual energy tonight.
Go ask the coaching staff what?
You feel like you should play more?
Go ask the coaching staff. Should I play more or not?
So here's something you don't expect to see this early in the season. Ja Morant just got suspended by his own team for conduct detrimental to the organization. And this time it's not the league, it's his own franchise. After you see what actually went down, you're gonna realize this Memphis situation is spiraling faster than anyone thought. Now there's a lot of layers to this, so I need you to stick around because what I'm about to show you about the coaching staff and what's really happening behind the scenes in Memphis is really going to shock you. This isn't just about one bad game. This is about a franchise cornerstone potentially being on his way out of Memphis. And the wildest part is the seeds for this disaster were planted way back when they hired their current head coach as an assistant. If you want to get the latest breakdowns in NBA news, make sure you're subscribed and have my notifications on. And now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. We had a dominant night last night, making $900 with my plays on Prize Picks. I have a play for you guys in this video, but first, make sure you sign up with my promo code microphone to get $50 in lineups when you make a play of $5 or more. On top of that, if you guys want more plays, my Discord server has been absolutely killing it. It's the WAP link in the description down below. It's where I got most of my plays that made me $900 last night. So if you guys want additional plays, make sure you check that out. And thank you, Prize Picks, for sponsoring today's video. Mic check 1 212. What's going on, everybody? October 31st, 2025. It's Halloween night. The Memphis Grizzlies are hosting the Los Angeles Lakers in an all-important NBA Cup group stage game. Memphis is sitting at 3-2. It's not terrible, but it's not really great either. They've beaten some bottom feeders like the Suns, Pacers, and the Pelicans, which we need to talk about the Pelicans in another video. But for now, let's talk about how the Grizzlies have been actually getting destroyed by legitimate playoff teams. The game itself was a roller coaster. Lakers take a 4-point lead after the first quarter, but Memphis comes roaring back in the second, building a 14-point lead by halftime. You're thinking, okay, the Grizzlies got this, right? Wrong. The Los Angeles Lakers pour in 62 second half points and steal the game 117-112. But the final score isn't what made headlines. Ja Morant went 3 of 14 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3, 8 points in 31 minutes. For a guy who's supposed to be your franchise player, that's absolutely brutal. But we've all seen stars have off nights, right? Steph Curry has clunkers. Luka has had bad games. It happens. Except this wasn't just about the stats. If you watched the game, you saw something way more concerning. Blake Griffin literally called him out on the Amazon Postgame show.
I didn't love what I saw from Ja Morant tonight. This is a guy who is insanely talented. I mean, right here, speed is his #1 weapon. Coming off a ball screen, passing the ball like this, kind of lazily cutting to the corner. That's just not what's going to get it done for Memphis. And now the back cut, I think you got to go for that right there. And then the very next possession coming down, you're kind of just standing in the corner, straight up, not even really engaged at all, almost having a conversation with Marcus Smart. Like, for a guy that's making $40 million and needs to be the leader of this team, I just don't love it. I don't know if he was not feeling well, if he's hurt, but that to me is a very bad sign, and it's something that it has to change. The Memphis Grizzlies will only go as far as Ja Morant takes them. And when he's engaged, I mean, we've seen it. That type of effort right there, that's the thing that we will call out. And UD, you are an effort guy. The Miami Heat is an effort organization. I know you would have had something to say if you were on that team right there and you saw that happen.
And then there was the huddle. During a timeout in a close, winnable game, cameras caught Ja standing completely separate from his teammates. Not engaged, not locked in. Ja Morant's not even in the huddle during a timeout of a close and winnable game. But wait, it gets worse. Way worse. After the game, Ja had to face the media, and man, he was not having it. When reporters asked him what went wrong, his response was ice cold.
What went wrong for you today?
Go ask the coaching staff.
It didn't look like you had your usual energy tonight.
Go ask the coaching staff what?
You feel like you should play more?
Go ask the coaching staff. Should I play more or not?
A reporter tried his best to dig deeper, asking what could have been done differently, other than asking the coaching staff. And Ja's response?
What could have been done different, get a different outcome, other than asking the coaching staff?
According to them, probably don't play me, honestly. That's what basically the message was after.
The coaching staff message was
It's
it?
cool. We good?
You didn't have anything physically wrong in terms of illness or anything?
Oh,
you
no, I'm
were
good.
under the
I'm
weather? Okay.
I'm fine.
Ja Morant, the face of the Memphis Grizzlies franchise, just publicly told reporters that the coaching staff basically said he shouldn't play. And then he added, "It's cool," in the most passive-aggressive way possible. If you listen to the clip, there has never been a less convincing delivery of "it's cool" in the history of basketball. The man was fuming. And honestly, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, Ja played 31 minutes in that game. He just had an off night, and he's pointing the blame at the coaching staff. Now, here's where the story takes a turn. ESPN's Shams Charania reported that the suspension came after Memphis Grizzlies coach Iisalo challenged Morant's leadership and effort in a post-game exchange, and Ja responded in a tone that was deemed inappropriate by the organization. So the Grizzlies moved fast, suspending him 1 game for conduct detrimental to the team. That suspension cost Ja $272,000, which is basically 1/145th of his $39.4 million salary. But here's what nobody's talking about. This isn't some new drama that popped out of nowhere. This has been brewing for a while, and it goes all the way back to one man, Iisalo. We're talking about a guy who was named the Champions League best coach after winning the FIBA Champions League in 2023. Then he went to Paris basketball and won the 2023 to 2024 Euro Cup championship in his first season while coaching the highest scoring offense in competition history. The man was literally coach of the year in multiple leagues. So the Grizzlies brought him over in July of 2024 as an assistant coach, specifically to run the offense. He was the first Finnish-born coach in NBA history. Memphis actually outbid the Washington Wizards to get him. That's how highly they thought of this guy's system. Now, Iisalo's coaching philosophy is all about pace, pick and roll heavy offense, tons of three-point attempts, and aggressive offensive rebounding. He's known to be extremely demanding, a coach that doesn't tolerate anything that gets in the way of winning. He's been described as using velociraptors as a metaphor for his offense, where every action is about testing the defense, attacking constantly, probing for weaknesses every 15 seconds. That sounds great in theory, right? European coaching genius comes to revolutionize the Grizzlies offense. Except there was one massive problem that nobody saw coming. Here's where this gets really interesting and why I think this entire situation was doomed from the start. When Iisalo came in as an assistant coach under Taylor Jenkins last season, the Grizzlies' offense started shifting, and not in a good way for Ja. Under Jenkins early in the season, before Iisalo's influence really took hold, Ja was doing okay. But as the season went on and more of Iisalo's system got implemented, something started breaking down. Ja posted a career low 29.1% from 3 on 5.3 attempts per game. Under Jenkins' system that incorporated Iisalo's ideas, Morant averaged just 22.3 points per game with a 30.7% usage rate. For context, that's his worst scoring output since his second year in the league. The problems were obvious if you watched the games. Ja had expressed frustration with an offensive system that often took the ball out of his hands, emphasizing positionless play and ball movement over his dynamic playmaking ability. Think about that. You have one of the most electric, explosive guards in the entire NBA, and you're running a system that takes the ball away from him. And here's the craziest part. It got so bad that on March 28, 2025, with just 9 games left in the regular season, the Grizzlies fired Taylor Jenkins, who was the winningest coach in franchise history with a 250 and 214 record. He got canned despite Memphis being in position for a top 4 seed through the All-Star break. And who did they promote? Iisalo. Now here's where everyone got fooled, including me initially. When Iisalo took over as head coach for those final 9 games, something magical happened. Ja's production exploded. He jumped from 22.3 points per game under Jenkins to 28.4 points per game under Iisalo. His usage rate skyrocketed from 30.7% to 34.6%. In his last 7 games to end the regular season, Ja averaged 28.4 points on 48% shooting. Everyone was celebrating. The narrative became, see, Iisalo's system is perfect for Ja. He just needed to be in full control. After Iisalo took over, Ja said he loved working with him, that they saw the game the same way. Ty Jerome even turned down more money from other teams specifically to play in Iisalo's system. The Grizzlies were so convinced that on May 2nd, 2025, they officially named Iisalo head coach. So the problem was solved, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. Because here's what nobody's considered. That 9-game sample size at the end of last season, that wasn't Iisalo's real system. He didn't have time to fully install his philosophy. He basically just said, give the ball to Ja and let him cook, because they were fighting for playoff position. But now with a full training camp and offseason to implement his actual system, the one he ran in Europe, the cracks are beginning to show. Ja himself admitted that training camp under Iisalo might have been one of the toughest ones for him, while simultaneously calling it the best day one of his career. That's telling. The system system is demanding, it's structured, and for a guy like Ja who thrives on freedom and creativity, it might be suffocating him. Look at the results this season. Through 6 games, Ja is averaging 20.8 points, 6.7 assists, and 3.3 rebounds on just 40.6% shooting. He's regressed back to his numbers under Jenkins. Actually, he's even worse. The 3-point shooting is still broken, the efficiency is down, and now you're seeing the body language issues, the lack of engagement, the public frustration. And here's what's really wild. Tomas Iisalo was the assistant coach last year when Ja Morant's numbers tanked early in the season. The offensive system that was taking the ball out of Ja's hands, that was Iisalo's system being implemented by Jenkins. So when Jenkins got fired and Iisalo took over, he temporarily abandoned his own system to let Ja loose because they needed wins desperately. But now that he's the full-time head coach with job security and the ability to install his complete vision, he's going back to the system that caused the problems in the first place. But it's not just about the offensive system. There are personality clashes here that run deeper. Iisalo is known to be incredibly demanding, a coach who doesn't tolerate anything that gets in the way of winning. He's a perfectionist who came from European basketball where he had complete control and players bought in 100%. Ja Morant is a 25-year-old superstar who's dealt with injuries, suspensions, and criticism his entire NBA career. He's emotional, he's passionate, and he plays with an edge. When Iisalo challenged his leadership and effort after the Lakers game, well, Ja Morant didn't respond well. And honestly, can you blame him? Think about it from Ja's perspective. Last year when Iisalo was an assistant, the offense became more structured and Ja's production dropped. Then Iisalo becomes the interim coach, gives Ja the keys, and he goes off for 28 a game. Ja probably thought, finally, a coach who gets me. But now this season with Iisalo fully in charge, the restrictions are back, the system is back, and Ja is struggling again. So when he goes 3 of 14 in a crucial game and his coach calls him out for effort and leadership, of course he's gonna push back. In Ja's mind, he's probably thinking, I'm out here trying to play your system that doesn't fit me, and you're questioning my effort? And here's where the story gets really scary for Grizzlies fans. Ja is under contract through 2028 with a cap hit of $39.4 million this season. That's a lot of money tied up in a player who clearly isn't happy with the coaching situation. And it's not like Memphis can just fire Iisalo, they just hired him 4 months ago. They fired their winningest coach ever to promote this guy. If they fire Iisalo now, it makes the entire front office look incompetent. Plus, Iisalo has support within the organization. Players like Ty Jerome specifically came to Memphis to play for him. But if Ja continues to be unhappy, if these public clashes continue, if the production doesn't improve, teams around the league are going to start circling. Morant's comments Friday night will undoubtedly catch the attention of teams around the league who will be monitoring whether these frustrations fade or continue to build. And here's the thing about Ja's trade value, it's really complicated. On one hand, he's a 2-time All-Star who's one of the most exciting players in the league when healthy and engaged. On the other hand, he's dealt with multiple suspensions, has an injury history, and now there are questions about his fit with structured offensive systems and his response to coaching. So what happens next? Well, Ja's going to miss Sunday's game against Toronto as part of the suspension. He's scheduled to return Monday against Detroit, but the real question is, what happens when he comes back? Does he buy in completely to the system? Does Iisalo adjust his system to better fit Ja's strengths? Or do these tensions continue to simmer until something breaks? Because at the time I'm recording this video, the Grizzlies are 3-3. They've only beaten the worst teams in the league. They're clearly not a championship contender, and their franchise player just threw his coaching staff under the bus and got suspended by his own team. That's not a recipe for success. You know what's crazy about all this? If you look at Ja's career trajectory, this could have all been avoided. When he was playing under Jenkins' earlier system, before Iisalo came aboard as an assistant, Ja was an all-NBA player, averaging 27.4 points in the 2021-22 season. He won Most Improved Player. He was electric, efficient, and the Grizzlies were winning. Then injuries hit, then the gun incidents and suspensions, and somewhere in there, Memphis decided that they needed to change their offensive philosophy. They brought in Iisalo thinking that his European system would unlock another level. Instead, it might be breaking the relationship between their franchise player and the organization. And the frustrating part is that we've seen proof that Ja can thrive in a pick and roll heavy system where he's the primary ball handler. That's literally what happened at the end of last season. But for some reason, the full Iisalo system isn't replicating those results. Maybe it's because the system is too rigid. Maybe it's because Ja needs more creative freedom. Maybe it's because there's a fundamental personality clash clash between a demanding European coach and an emotional American superstar. Whatever it is, something's gotta give. Look, I'm not saying that Ja is blameless in all of this. Going 3 of 14 is bad. Standing away from your team during a huddle is bad. Publicly throwing your coaches under the bus is bad. He deserved the suspension for that post-game behavior, no question about it. But we also have to acknowledge that this situation was created by some questionable decisions by the Memphis front office. Bringing in a coach whose system didn't maximize their best player, firing their most successful coach ever with 9 games left in the season, and now doubling down on a coaching hire that clearly isn't working for their franchise cornerstone. The next few weeks are going to be crucial for Memphis. Can they figure this out? Can Ja and Iisalo find common ground? Or are we watching the beginning of the end of the Ja Morant era in Memphis? They already traded away Desmond Bane for 4 first-round picks from the Orlando Magic, and honestly, so far, it looks like they may have won that trade. I don't know if you guys heard, but Desmond Bane is not having a good time in Orlando. I made a completely separate video on that. I'm going to leave a link to it in the end screen. I'll meet you guys there. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.